Hi everyone, my name is Zach. I'm a migration agent, and this is my colleague Ramneek.
Hello.
Hi, together we have more than 10 years of experience in the industry, and we're very happy to be here for this presentation. We just want to show you a very particular topic, that's the partner visa or student dependent or other temporary visa dependent requirements. So how do you become someone's dependent for a visa? Here's a disclaimer, but we already announced it. So this webinar is general advice only. This is not considered as individual advice. If you have any questions, of course, you are always more than welcome to contact us, or you ask your questions here. So for today, we are going to cover the dependent requirements for almost all the visa subclasses, including partner visa and onshore offshore dependent visa for student, work visas, and skilled visas. By law, they look quite similar, but in practice, execution assessment, it's vastly different. The case officers will apply different extent to the document requirements for each visa. So it looks straightforward, but in reality, it's not so much. And the key words for this for the requirement is genuine and continuing relationship. Looks very straightforward. Genuine, continuing relationship. That's it. But when assess the documents, they have quite a few different criteria. And of course, you have to be in a marriage or de facto relationship to claim the dependency. Next page, please. And there are 4 pillars of this relationship assessment, and I will have my colleague Ramneek to give you a quick rundown.
Hello, everyone. So, in general, immigration point of view, in order to prove the relationship, you must prove that you have these 4 aspects: genuine and continuing, financial, living arrangement, social, commitment. It basically means in financial aspect, your living expenses, how you manage your money, what's your future assets, career. Living arrangements, how you're living your daily life, living together and visiting together, spending time together. Social aspect is how you explore your friend circle, relative circle, and are you being acknowledged as a relationship in your society. Commitment, what's your long-term commitment toward each other? Are you helping each other in your daily life, in your problem solving, these kind of things. So these are the journal wording. However, to prove these aspects, you need to prove in documents. So I will show you the evidences. Yeah. So these are those documents who prove these aspects. Marriage certificate, de facto relationship certificate, which is not mandatory though, but this certificate is strong enough to prove your relationship is a genuine and you have a commitment toward each other. Joint finance, remember financial aspects. You have a joint account in a bank. You have any joint assets or any shareholding, any car loan, home loan. These kind of documents prove that you are committing toward each other in financial aspects. Social aspects, like you have photographs with the friends, birthday parties, and any outings, restaurants, get together, these things. Joint relationship statement, kids, etc. Like if you have any kids, the kid have a birth certificate, school certificate. Living arrangements, rent, utility bills, these kind of documents prove those aspects. So I let Mr. Zach continue.
Yeah. So once you prepare these documents, we can move forward to your visa application. And here's a slide we often this is the question we often encounter. So if you are a student visa applicant holder and you want to add your partner and or kids into this application, on top of the relationship requirement we discussed on the previous page, you also have to prove that you have funding for the dependents, and this is mandatory. It's not like the main student visa application. If you want to add dependents on your student visa, the funding calculation is going to be mandatory. And the calculation is here as the follows. The living cost of the main applicant is $21,000, sorry, Australian dollars, and the living cost of the spouse is $7,362. A living cost of the children is $3,152 per person. And you also have to cover the course fee for the first 12 months. For example, if you are studying, for example, commercial cookery, the course, the first year is Certificate 3 in commercial cookery of approximately $9,000. You have to add that $9,000 into this formula. Last thing is you have to prepare a traveling cost. If you are inside Australia, it's $1,000 per person. If it's outside Australia, it's $2,000 per person. So it's that's the ticket you have to prepare. Yes, stay on this page. So once we prepare this, when we prepare this document, you will notice that you may not by yourself have enough funding. You may ask help from your parents, your spouse, or your relatives in Australia or overseas. This is sort of complicated, and if that's the scenario, we highly encourage you to contact us, and we can assess your funding preparation for individually and see whether the funding provided is enough or not. Next page, please. So this is the last thing we are going to cover before we open the floor to questions. This is a complicated one. As we in some of the countries, including Philippines, it's quite difficult to get a divorce. So what if someone has already married, has a previous marriage, separated, and want to enter in a new relationship and claim the dependency to this? It used to be nearly impossible under Australian legislation, but after years of practice and real-life cases, the government has changed their position, and they have the understanding of permanent separation. So if you are, let's say, a client is in a permanent separated relationship, the department can accept that and allow them to enter into a new relationship, providing that the new relationship is strong and long-term. And we do recommend that we provide evidence of the separation for more than 12 months. It's not mandatory, but in reality, it will make the case officer much easier to understand the situation. And we have the government's position here. This is the exact policy quoted from the government website, not website, sorry. It's in the policy book, and it's the exact reads as: it should not be assumed that the relationship between a visa applicant and their claimed de facto partner is not mutually exclusive in one or both parties. It is still married to a third party. This the wording is a bit convoluted, but what they are trying to say is even if you still are legally married to someone, if you are separated on basis, we can consider individual cases and allow this application to go forward. So that solves a lot of questions, and especially when we come with the Filipino cases, the department does have this understanding that provide us enough documents, and we can accept that the previous relationship is essentially practically ended, and you can enter a new one. Next page, please. Yeah, so this is a reality, because every case is different. We just want you to have the opportunity to present your case in the best way. So we usually will, when we come to assessment in the relationship, we do recommend you to have an individual case-by-case assessment with us. We are more than capable of help you and go through the document. We will provide you a document checklist, tell you what we think, how we think about relationship, whether it's enough or it has to take longer, and what kind of documents we will present to the case officer. I think we can open the floor to the questions. I can see that we already have some questions. Can you just go through the questions for us, please?
Oh yeah. Okay. Pag may mga tanong, pwede niyo i-chat sa chat box, and then we can answer it from there. Yeah, but if you're more confident to speak, then you can speak. You can unmute and speak to the agent, so you can ask your questions.
I can see one question here. What's the document needed to prove financial capacity? It depends on the how you want to provide the financial capacity. The simplest way is definitely a bank statement showing you have enough funds. That's a straightforward one. We send it to the department and they will say yes. But in reality, most of the cases are more complicated than that. For example, the money is not under your name. The money is under your parents' name.
Or support person.
Yeah, or support person's name. In that case, you have to demonstrate the relationship between you and the support person. What kind of relationship you have? Are you relative or just a friend? And whether this money is allocated to assist your study. So the support person may have to make a statutory declaration, say, I know this person, I want to financially support this person's study in Australia.
So in general, it's like a bank balance, income tax, affidavits, stat decks, and if the money is previous one, a statement from the 3 months old to prove the genuinity. So these are those documents in journal. It depends from case to case, what kind of funds you or your support person has and what documents particularly they can prove.
Yeah, and bring the documents to us and we can assess it and tell you whether it's enough or whether we have any recommendations to amend or improve the presentation.
Any more questions?
Can I ask po?
Sure.
Hello?
Hello,
Yeah,
yes.
Is it okay to ask not just kahit din ako?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, yes, you can ask a question.
Yeah, so my question is, so I'm already here in Melbourne. And if ever, is it possible for me to bring my mom too, like as a dependent or what not? Or what is it possible po? Can you hear me clearly?
we can.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Yes, well, I understand your question is you are currently in Melbourne on visa and you want to bring your mother as a dependent on your visa. Unfortunately,
Yeah, is that possible?
usually that's not possible. Your parents are not your dependent under the Australian legislation, unless there are some very extreme circumstances may apply. For example, if your parent is disabled and financially depend on you, but not there are a lot of caveats and conditions. For example, on the student visa, it's absolutely impossible. The dependent relative must be under 18 years of age. So for your mother, it's absolutely impossible. But if you are in Australia under different visas, we may have a chat. But in general, it's not in line with the legislation.
So is there any other way that she could like go here, like not as my dependent? Is it like a
So let me ask you, how long have you been in Australia and which visa are you currently on?
yeah, I'm actually on a student visa, so I just got here 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I just got here last June too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe. Welcome. It's winter, unfortunately. That's the worst season in Melbourne. I can trust me. It will get better. By the way, to answer your question, it's usually under your circumstance, we usually recommend you consider a visitor visa for your mother. Maybe she wants to see how your environment is. She wants to see how your study goes, and she wants to generally have a feeling of how Australia is. So under some circumstances, you can just say invite her, say it's very exciting here, and I want to invite you to come to Australia. Yeah. But then again, we have to discuss a lot of particular information. It's not suitable in this session. So I do encourage you to contact us. We can provide you an individual session and tell you what we think about the partner. Sorry, visitor.
Yeah, actually you can
Thank you so much.
you can actually visit our office. It's located here in Level 10, 276 Flinders Street. It's just outside the station. So yeah, you can visit our office anytime. So we also have Filipino counselors here. And I myself is a Filipino marketing executive.
Okay.
Yeah, you can visit anytime from Monday to Friday.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I can see that there's a question about the GT writing. Yes, GT is the critical part of a student visa application. However, this is not our main topic today. We are helping with we are discussing the partner visa or relationship requirements for the dependent GTE. We also have for the dependent student visa, we also have to submit a GTE statement, and in that statement you have to address why you want to come to Australia and join your partner, and what's the plan for the future. What do you do during the study? And what do you do after the study? What's your plan in general? But then again, it's not the main topic today. If you want, you can contact us and we can assist you with this application. And we definitely will include the GTE assistance in our assistance. The next question, just want to ask, my letter of offer already done? How many weeks or months need to process the visa? Thanks. That's also, it depends on the rest of the documentation. For example, when can you provide your financial statements, your fill your forms? It takes time, and it's not quite easy to answer. But I can tell you, if all the documents is ready for process, we take 1 week for the application to be processed and launched. After that, it's to the Department of Home Affairs. They can process the visa, and the time to process is vastly different. Sometimes a few days, sometimes a few weeks, even 1 month or 2. Do you have agency here in BNE? So
So is it?
Sorry,
Brisbane? Is it Brisbane? BNE?
sorry, can you be more clear? What's BNE? I'm a little confused here. I'm currently in Australia on a visa. My 16-year-old son is in the Philippines. What is the timeline to get him to study here as a dependent visa? Ramneek, do you want to take care of this one?
Someone is on bridging visa A, and can you specify which bridging visa A you are holding? How you get this bridging visa A? It's 𝐏𝐻𝐻𝐢𝐵. And first thing, like apart from getting a knowledge how you get the bridging visa A, your son needs to apply a visa to come here on Australia, right? As a dependent visa, that dependency come on your visa. That kind of visa you are holding, as you said, bridging visa A. So mean you have submitted an visa already. Which kind of visa you have already submitted? And in that visa, how your family member is mentioned. So in broad, you need to be more specific regarding your question. Are you asking a separate student visa for your son? Which I can think. Are you there? Better?
Student. She's under a student visa.
Okay.
So student visa. So you said bridging visa, you already submitted a student visa, right? So let's wait for your grant, and then you can apply a student dependent for your son. There is a requirement of school enrollment for your son. And once the student dependent is granted, your son can come here and study the higher school. It's year 11 or year 12 or 16 year, right? Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Miss Sandra, you can.
Thank you. What if my partner is already onshore? She has a student visa, and she wanted to apply for me for for de facto. Can you give us like an estimated cost on how much will it be, including insurance, etc.? Just an estimate.
Okay, so what's your current visa?
My partner is already have a student visa.
So you're in the Philippines, Miss Sandra, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to apply from offshore. Yes. So
Yes.
the cost, it depends on the duration of your partner's student visa. So what we need to do is we need to prepare the application. We need to prepare the health insurance, and we also have to. Yes, for the dependent, it's just the health insurance and the visa application, and also there might be some associated costs when you prepare the documentation. For the health insurance, it's I'm not able to give you an exact quote right now, but you can visit our website. We can provide a website after this, but yeah, we need you to enter some information to get a quote, because the duration and the relationship and the whereabouts and which
Matters.
matters, and which insurance company you want to use, they do matter. For the student visa application, it's $650 right now, but it's going to increase after this of July. We're waiting for the department's update. It's possible it's going to be over $700. Yeah, most likely going to be over a little bit over $700. And for the insurance, once again, you need to get an individual quote. We can provide an assessment tool from our website.
So sorry, Zach. So
ahead.
for the insurance, we have budget policy. So we offer 20% to 47% discount on the insurance. It's under BUPA. So yeah, we have up to 47% discount in couple and family discount for the insurance, and we will have a price increase by the end of this month. So if you want to purchase from us, you can directly contact us or visit our website, and then from there you can check the prices, and we'll just send you an email for more information.
Yeah. For example, if market price is 2,000, from here you can get in around 1,000, less than 1,000.
So for example, you have a couple visa that's worth like 7,000, you can buy it from us like 5,000 Australian dollars, and it also covers the same with the website of BUPA. So we're actually the #1 agent of BUPA here. That's why we can provide you discounts. So yeah.
On the same topic, because you are applying for a dependent visa, I just want to repeat myself. You have to prepare the financial evidence showing that you have enough money. The calculation goes the living cost of your partner, the living cost of yourself, and the next 12 months of school fee of your partner, plus $3,000, $2,000 for your air tickets, and $1,000 for his air ticket. You have to add this number together and provide a statement or some sort of evidence to show that you have enough funding before the visa can be assessed.
So the next question is, where is the best place to process the dependent visa, onshore or offshore?
If you can, onshore is always better than offshore.
If you can enter in Australia.
Yeah, but
then
the question is, how can you become onshore? Yeah, so usually if you can arrange a visitor visa, or you want us to obtain a visitor visa, we can do that. Once you're onshore, it's always better, it's quicker, it's cheaper, and it's with a much lower risk, because onshore application decision can be reviewed. Department knows that, so when they think about the decision, it's less likely to get a refusal when you are onshore. But how to get onshore is another entire story. Yes, it's a separate story, and it by itself is complicated.
So if you are already in Australia and looking for a dependent, definitely onshore dependent. There is no such thing that you need to go back and then apply and come back.
So another is, she's already in touch with Sonny in Adelaide office.
Yeah.
So she has few questions we sent 6 days ago. So yeah, can I have a one-on-one call?
Yeah, sure. Probably tomorrow. We will message you our number, and we can arrange a phone call tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yes.
All right, thank you.
What's the name of?
It's Cassandra Martino.
Sandra. Okay, can you just write that in?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, we will provide our number after this session.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm in touch with. Okay, next one.
So next is agency here in Brisbane. So we don't have any agency in Brisbane, just in Adelaide, Sydney, and Melbourne. But you can always call us and email us. Yeah.
Yeah, since after the pandemic, we are way more used to distant work. So a lot of applications are processed without the need of attending the office. A phone call, an email would suffice. So just do, by all means, contact us, and most likely we are able to help you.
So next is it possible to bring our 2 years old baby if ever we apply a student visa and factor with my partner?
Yes. The short answer is yes. The long answer is you still have to assess. We still have to assess your situation as a whole, and tell you how likely and how risky the application is. For example, how old are you? How long have you been living together? What's your work history? What's your education background? What are you going to study in Australia? These factors, we need to know the whole full picture before we can tell you how likely the 2-year-old can get a visa inside Australia.
So next is how to apply for a student visa for
Thank you.
my wife.
So I think Patrick is from Philippines. From the message, right? So Patrick,
I'm just putting the number.
you need to take admission, have a COE, apply a student visa along with your wife. So I think it's from Philippines. He wants to apply a student visa, right?
Yeah.
So admission, and then so you can share that email. So
Yeah,
that he
and
can
I'm just gonna type the email and the contact number for everyone, so you can contact us. So it will be easier for us. I'm just
So for a
getting-
student visa in general, you must have an admission first. Once the admission is done, you can include your wife in that student visa application, and both of you can get a grant at the same time.
I'm gonna type it here.
There we go. Just be mindful, this is an Australian number. Our country code is 61.
So this is a landline.
Yeah, this is a landline Australian local number.
So what's next? So from tourist visa to student visa.
Yeah, we process that a lot. If you are on a tourist visa in Australia, we do recommend, in general, we do recommend you to consider apply for student visa inside Australia. Talk to our counselor, and we will design a pathway for you or package for you. We will help you to select the school and the course, and tell you how much it takes, how long it takes, and we will prepare the application for you. Do visit our office or shoot us an email. But to answer your question, technically this is not a question, but from tourist visa to student visa, it's a very common pathway here. We process it every day. By all means, it should work.
Is it possible if I will be a tourist visa and I will get a student visa while onshore my father is in Australia already?
Yeah, I think I just answered that question.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing. So on tourist visa to tourist visa to student visa, it's very common. As long as you can explain why you suddenly decide to study in Australia, give some background. For example, you went to the school, or you like it here, you like to study here, you enjoy the culture here. Give some background. Usually, case officers are pretty acceptable for this scenario.
So another question.
Tourist visa, student visa, or offshore student visa only. As Ramneek earlier discussed, the tourist visa itself carries a lot of risk, some risk, not a lot, but itself carries some risk. If you can arrange a tourist visa to come to Australia, it's definitely better. But sometimes you may have to prepare for a tourist visa, the chance of tourist visa refusal itself. So it's a very difficult assessment without knowing the whole picture. For example, have you been to Australia before? Have you been to any other countries before? What's your employment status? What's your relationship with Australia? Do you have any relatives here? Do you have any particular reason you want to be here? If you have any of the answer that's to these questions, it might be preferable for you to apply for a tourist visa, come here, then apply for a student visa. Otherwise, you may consider apply for a student visa from overseas.
So once I'm granted the student visa, can I get my son anytime?
If you apply yourself and then you want to add dependents, we do recommend you to consider a cooling off period. Because this is because once at the time of your student visa application, you did make a plan, and that plan didn't involve your child or spouse in Australia. So it takes time for the plan to change. For example, I miss my son so much, or we realized that we can support my son when I study. So things change over time. So usually we recommend a 3 or 6 month period before you launch a new application. We don't recommend you to launch the application once you get a student visa. It looks inconsistent to your usually it looks inconsistent with your previous statement in your student visa application. But to answer your question, yes, we can, but maybe wait for a few months.
So how long does it normally take to process the visa application?
I think I answered that question before. It depends on when we can get all the documents. We will. The process goes. We will help you to select the school. Once we get enrollment, we ask for additional documents. For example, health insurance forms, etc. Once you fill the forms, it takes about 1 more week for us to process, and then it's to the department to finalize to assess the application, and that time varies.
From 1 week to a couple of months.
Yes.
How many weeks for the processing of this visa?
Very similar question, and I will have to answer a very similar answer. It depends on the processing time, but once we have a lot of documents, usually a week, and first visa over in Philippines. At the moment, my experience is it takes 2 to 4 weeks for process.
So this one is onshore already. I'm in Australia right now and planning to apply student visa. Is it possible?
Yes, we discussed this before. I think you might miss the answer, but yes, it's possible. And it's if you really want to study in Australia, it's highly encouraged. Just come to us, and we will help you to find a school and start this journey. How about processing dependent visa?
For 3 offshore. So
Yeah,
husband and 2 children. Do we really show money from our own account? What if we don't have any savings in our account? What are some options?
Yeah, so we need to show money from some account, either your account, your parents' account, or some financial sponsor's account. If it's your account, that's most straightforward way. If it's your parents' account, you need to show the relationship between you and your parents, usually by providing your birth certificate. If it's some other sponsor, you really need to provide sufficient documentation to show the relationship. For example, if it's your uncle, you need to show that he is your parents' sibling, and then he's willing, and you are your parents' kids. It sounds strange, but that's how it works. And then you need to provide a statement from your uncle to say that, okay, I want to sponsor this applicant. This is who I am, and this is how much money I have. I'm willing to invest this money for the study. But then again, it's usually if the money is supplied by anyone other than yourself, your partner or your parents, usually it's complicated. We need to do an individual assessment.
So do we still have to make GTE for them?
Yes, we do have to make GTE for each applicant. But if the GTE, if we are making GTE for the kids under 18 years of age, we sometimes can combine them because the parents can usually make decisions to some extent for the kids. So we can just write a statement from the mother and address the kids as well. It can be accepted.
Hi, sir. I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Hi.
We actually here, we're from Philippines, and then I want to ask because we have business here in the Philippines, and then I am planning to get a student visa to Australia, and I want to bring my dependent, my son, my 3-year-old son, and my husband. And I would like to know if how about for the insurance? Do you have estimate amount for the insurance if I want to bring my dependent with me as a student visa?
Hi, sorry, what's the name? Rona. Hi, Rona. So we actually offer 47% discount for family insurance. So up to June 30, actually up to June 29, we still have the same price. So technically the original price is mostly estimated to 13,000 to 15,000 Australian dollars for 2 years already. But since we are under budget policy and we offer 47% discount, so most likely it will just cost you around $10,000 for the family insurance. So
So it will be covered for of the three of us.
yes, it will be covering you and your and your husband and your your child. Plus also if
Yeah.
you have two children, they can also cover that. So it's part of the coverage for the family insurance already.
All right. It's good for a year, right?
No, it's good for 2 years already. So we can't buy an insurance that will just cover 1 year. So you need an insurance that will cover the
Course.
whole course. So if your course is 2 years, then the insurance should for 2 years also.
All right. Thank you.
I must encourage graduate from the courses you recommend.
This is not the area we want to cover today. So
So we are focusing on partner and dependent relationship.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So for those kind of inquiries for the vet courses and school recommendations, you can reply, you can email filipino@asiapacificgroup.com, the one that I put in the chat box. So you can contact Angelica. She's a Filipino education counselor. So you won't have a hard time contacting her. She's always in the office and you can actually talk to her in Tagalog if you want. And you can actually call her as well. So that's the active, I'll just copy.
Yeah, it's in the text box.
So it's in the top text box. So this one. I would like to know the cost of applying student with response. So for the specific cost of the student visa with your spouse or de facto, you can actually send an email to Filipino@Asia Pacific. So it's since we have discussed a general topic for the dependent visa, so for all the case-to-case basis, you can email Filipino@AsiaPacificGroup.com. So
Yeah, in the ballpark, you have to consider the application fee, which is $650 for the main applicant, and what's the dependent application? 300 something.
Along with the main one.
Yeah,
It's 400 something.
400 something. So, sorry, I'm very bad at numbers. Yeah, so overall application fee you have to pay for about $1,000. Then you have to get a quote for the health insurance. And
we always recommend health insurance to be couple.
yeah.
Yes.
Instead of single.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because you can activate the single policy. So yeah. So this is the question again. If my children are under 18 years old, do we really need to pay for the full cost of their tuition fee?
Yes, you have to, and that's the mandatory requirement before the visa can be granted. If I bring my child as my dependent, can she go to school too? Yes, your
Child
child.
must be 5 years or more.
Yeah.
And it's mandatory to have them enrolled in the school.
Yes, it's actually mandatory. It's not if you can or cannot. You must bring your child to school if he or she is in school age. If I bring my child, same question.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same question.
Okay, is that the
Yeah.
last
So
one?
do you have any more questions?
You can speak directly.
You can speak directly,
Yeah.
but if it's related to the education side, education counseling and the courses and the schools that we offer, you can email directly at filipino@asiapacificgroup.com. So it will be so Angelica can advise you what course you should take, what school you should choose, and yeah. So
Yeah, we are a team and we work together, and we are the migration agents, and we will eventually help you to apply for your visa applications.
so there's a question. Is it free or
Is it free or other? Sorry, I can't see it.
Is it
Oh,
free
there's
or
a
this-
tuition.
It is not free. Department will charge for the application and school will charge for the tuition fees.
Oh.
And insurance company charge for the insurance. So technically, no free.
Yeah,
Is there a financial? Yeah.
yeah, financial requirement. For dependents, yes, as I discussed, the financial requirements does cover. You need to cover the funding for all your dependents, and the calculation is was on the previous page. You need to cover the living cost of all the main applicant and all the dependents, and the traveling cost. Yeah, there's a calculation, and if you email us, we can calculate for you how much money you need to prepare.
Yes. So
So much. You are very welcome.
So is there any more questions? Yeah, if you have any question, you can speak.
Yeah, everyone can just turn on the mic and speak
Yeah.
up.
It will be easier for us to discuss.
All right. And after this, if you have any further questions, feel free to email us or give us a call, and we are more than happy to discuss your individual cases with you. Do we have any questions?
No more. So I just sent them the email and the contact number of Angelica for the education side.
Yeah, thank you.
So there's still someone who's joining.
We're to the party.
Yeah, that's already done. So, do you have any more questions, guys?
Hey, Patrick, thanks for joining us. We are about to finish, but if you have any questions, just send us an email. You can see our email address in the message box.
Yes. So it's Filipino@asiapacific.com, or you can actually visit our page. Will Nueva SB holder can work full-time or also have restrictions?
At the moment, there's no. Yeah, good question. Do you want to cover this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take the last question. It depends on what level of study you are taking. If the applicant is taking a study of the master degree or above, the partner can work full-time without any restrictions. Otherwise, the partner has to obey the restriction. From 1st of July 2023, it will be 48 hours per fortnight. It's similar to 3 shifts a week, but not exactly the same.
So
Last question.
yeah, that's the last question.
Okay. Yeah, and once you receive your student visa, by the way, once you receive the student visa application, we do encourage you to read carefully the grant letter, because all the conditions and the visa duration, every information you need will be on that grant letter. Read it carefully, and if you have questions, feel free to shoot an email to us. The visa conditions, such as work condition, is clearly explained in every single visa grant letters.
So is there any more questions, guys? So for the insurance policy, budget policy, you can visit our website, so you can get a code there. Just input the course start date and the course end date, so you can get the price of our insurance. So again, we have 20% to 47% discount for the couple and family insurance. So we don't recommend you guys buying single policy for your dependent or your spouse, because you can't activate it. So yeah.
Okay, thank you guys for having us. Your feedback is overwhelming. We are very glad to be able to assist you. If we answered your question, you're welcome. Otherwise, if you still have questions, shoot us an email or visit us or give us a call. Our contact information is in the message box. Otherwise, everyone, we have a good evening or good afternoon, depends on where you are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.